Everybody. Wanted to take out the time to share a very interesting story with you. I know during this time everybody's getting ready for Christmas and going out getting the Christmas tree, putting the lights up and all this kind of stuff and really going all out, And in the midst of that, I kind of want to share something that's, something that's not the norm, and kind of just share the origins of a holiday that many of you guys don't know anything about, and that's Hanukkah. Hanukkah is actually a Jewish feast day. It's not one of God's Moedim, which means appointed times or appointed feasts, but it is something that is recognized by the Bible and even recognized by the Lord. In that, I believe it's in John, the book of John. I forgot. I want to say the 10th chapter or whatever, when it talks about Yeshua and it's called the Feast of Dedication. And in Hebrew, the word for dedication is Hanukkah. And so it shows that the Lord, he acknowledged that feast day and participated in it. So you see him actually participating in this feast day. But anyway, the origins of it kind of goes like this. It was during the time, and many people don't know this, that uh, in your Bible, from the last book of the Old Testament, what we call the Old Testament, is Malachi, and the first book of the New Testament in our Bible is Matthew. And it's a period of time between Malachi and Matthew that is actually about 400 years. And during that 400-year period of time, there were no prophets. God wasn't talking to the people like he used to or whatever. And it was a lot of stuff that was going on in Israel. And during this particular time, Greece had been in control of Jerusalem and Israel for that matter. And the king of Greece during that time, I forgot his name, but he was very tolerant of the Jews. He allowed them to practice their religious beliefs and their temple worship and their feast days and all that, But when he died and the son took over, his son's name was Antiochus Epiphanes, and he was more of a tyrant. You know what I'm saying? Antiochus was like, we Greeks, we have a pantheon of gods. We don't just have one God, And they had an issue with the Jews because the Jews only had the one God, and they was like, you guys need to cross over and serve multiple gods like us. And the Jews are like, nah, we're not gonna do that. So he began to get upset. He began to try to force people under the pangs of death to break God's dietary laws and eat pork and all this kind of stuff and celebrate their pagan days. And he would try to get them to even turn away from the Sabbath and all the things they were doing to just come away from that. And they were like, no, we're not going to do it. And so but because of the fact that it was under the pangs of death, a lot of people was like, okay, and they kind of surrendered. But for the most part, a lot of people were like, no, we're not going to. So Antiochus got outraged. He said, okay, I got something for y'all. So he knew that the temple of God was a very sacred thing to the Jews. And so what he did is he went and he took a huge statue of Zeus and placed it right in the center of the temple. And then to add insult to injury, he went and he got a pig. And he took the pig and brought the pig inside of the temple. Now, if you know anything about the Old Testament, a pig was considered, unclean. It's considered and still is considered a filthy animal. And so the Jews wouldn't even touch a pig. So to bring a pig into God's temple, that was basically the ultimate diss. And he got the pig in there and he sacrificed the pig on the altar of God. And the Jews, they went insane. They were like, oh my God, how could he do this? And so what ended up happening, there was a man by the name of Judah, and Judah began to raise up a revolt. He got a small band of people to team up with him, and they began to do guerrilla type tactics on the Greeks or whatever, and they began to little by little defeat the Greeks, small band at a time, and the Greeks began to send more people, and their little band began to fight against them and defeat them, and it kept going and kept going and kept going to find the Greeks were chased out of Israel. This is known as the Maccabean revolt. Maccabee means hammer, and that's what they called Judah. Judah was the man that led the revolt. They called him Judah Maccabee, because he was like a hammer. So they chased him out. So once it was done, then what happened is Judah And the Jews, they went into the temple and they began to clean up the temple. They got the temple nice and clean and all this kind of stuff, rebuilt the altar and everything, took all the pagan stuff that was in there out and all this kind of stuff. And then they wanted to dedicate the temple back to God. Now, the word Hanukkah means dedication. And that's why when you look in the Bible, like I said, I think John 10, you see it talks about Yeshua and it was during the Feast of Dedication. This was Hanukkah. So anyway, they one of the things that's supposed to happen is that the candle in the temple was supposed to be lit every day. It was never supposed to go out. But during the time that the Greeks were running it, they had the candles weren't lit. So the Jews are like, okay, now we got the temple together. Let's rededicate it back to God and get the candle lit. So they had came across another problem. They were like, okay, we only have enough oil to last for one day, and it'll take 8 days to make more oil. And they were like, well, what are we gonna do? So one of the people said, you know what? Well, let's just light it to get it lit, and we'll just figure something out after that. Start trying to make the oil and just do what we could do. So they lit the candle in faith and began to go through the process, the 8 day process of making the oil for the candle. And what ended up happening is that one day's worth of oil ended up lasting 8 days, which was the time they needed to make more make more of the oil. So they were like, wow, this is definitely a miracle that we had one day worth of oil and it lasted for 8 days. So that is pretty much why they celebrate Hanukkah every year, and it's called the Feast of Dedication, because this was during the time that they were rededicating the temple back to God. And because of the fact that the one day worth of oil lasts 8 days, Hanukkah is an 8 day celebration. And so what ends up happening is that on every day of the 8 day period of time, they will light a candle to memorialize what took place with that one day's worth of oil lasting for 8 days. And so again, that's why Hanukkah is an 8 day celebration. They have a lot of other cool little things that goes on during the time, and it's an amazing definitely an amazing holiday or feast day. And I'm definitely looking forward to being able to participate in this year. This is my first time since I've become messianic to participate in it. And I would definitely say look into it. I mean, it's an amazing story, it's an amazing celebration, or whatever the case might be. But I just want to take the time out to share that with you, because I know a lot of people, like me, for example, before this time last year, I really know anything about it. But after doing my studying and all this stuff, during my journey, I've learned about that. I'm just like blown away by it. So I kind of want to bring that to everybody that's watching this video, to let them know something that wasn't known before. And like I said, it's something that the Lord acknowledged because of the fact that He even observed this feast day. That's really about it. I'm working on doing some more videos. I want to put out some quality stuff, like I said. So until I get a chance to get the quality that I want, I'm really not going to do anything. I might do some short videos like this, but I'm not going to go out like I want to until I'm able to put out the quality that I want to put out, because I don't want to put out no low quality, no low budget looking stuff, but I want to put stuff out that I can put references up there and you guys see the references where I'm coming from. And because I understand most people aren't going to sit down and take the time to research things the way I do, because that's all I do every day. And people are like, dang, you don't have a life. And yeah, I really don't, because that's just something I'm passionate about and I like to do. So I'd rather be the one that does the work that other people don't want to do, and then can show you so you can see it as well, while I'm doing the teaching or whatnot. But anyway, that's about it for my video. I need to take off, take care of some other things. Got 1,000,001 other things I need to take care of. But I just want to share that with you. Hope it blessed you guys. You guys take care. Shalom.